let's see. In the future, I wanna own my own production company called System A. It's something I've been working on for a while, and so I just really would like to pursue that in the future. Like I plan on going to college for business and film, so I could mesh the two together to create my own company and then take on my own thing. And really, and with that, I just really want to make an impact. I want to use my films to try to teach messages or make a point about things that some people don't really like to talk about, or some things that people are going through that they don't really put up front, but just to show what needs to be shown.
Okay. So, what's one common misconception about having narcolepsy?
A big misconception is that, let's see. One big misconception is that people who have narcolepsy, let's see. Okay. One big misconception about people with narcolepsy. Let me. Oh, sorry. Okay, one big misconception about people with narcolepsy is that a lot of people get it confused when they like to ask questions about whether narcolepsy causes you to go to sleep or if it causes you to stay awake and not be able to go to sleep. And well, to clear it up, narcolepsy causes you to go to sleep, and it's one of they call it the disorder that really isn't taken that seriously. It's just sort of like, he occasionally falls asleep. I mean, in the long run, it actually does affect people pretty harshly. Like they say, a lot of people who have narcolepsy are very obese and have like grade averages of like C's and D's and F's. I mean, I rarely ever get C's. I've been an AB student about all my life, so in a sense, I guess it's sort of, I could tell people that what they're seeing of me is not the average narcoleptic person, and that you could say it's not a big deal, but in a sense, I would like for it to be thought of as not a big deal. I don't want people to really go around and feeling like they gotta give me extra attention, extra support, and talk about, oh, I'm not sure if this is gonna affect your narcolepsy and this and that. I'm just a normal person with my disability the same way someone else has some other disability, whether it's in written form that's called narcolepsy, or if it's just in your personal character and how you carry yourself. So everybody's got something, so it's up to us to either let it stop us or conquer it.
Okay. What else? So, has narcolepsy altered your experience with school at all? Like, consider studying, concentration?
Narcolepsy changes the whole entire game plan because it doesn't, well, let me rephrase that. Narcolepsy narcolepsy changes the whole entire game plan because literally narcolepsy doesn't allow you to have one. It's always changing. It's always something different. It might be like one day you fall asleep in third period, the next day for some reason you're tired in first, and then all of a sudden it's just all this random stuff. And especially like when you grow, like sometimes your medication might stop working because your body's adapting to certain things, so you gotta up dosages. And I remember like my freshman year I started to fall asleep because my medication would just stop working, and that was when I was in the magnet program. So I had an AP class and I was falling asleep like every single day, and it was just really hard to adapt with. But at the end of the day, there's really no excuse. I can't tell someone when you go to apply for a college, oh, well, I have narcolepsy, so my grades are low, that's the reason. No, it's whatever. You gotta conquer the things. You gotta, whatever you have, you gotta get past it. Like Stephen Hawking, he was not walking like everyone else. He wasn't doing the things everyone else was doing. He was in a wheelchair, but still he was putting out knowledge that someone who had all the capabilities could never even think of. So as long as this is solid, I can do anything.
Good. Okay, I'm probably gonna ask one more. So, tell me again how you got into the videography and photography thing about the stuff.
It all started, it was like a mixture of, well, I went through like multiple passions before I really hit film, but it all at the end of the day sort of screamed film because I've always been the type to envision like full stories, and just my life has very much been something that like has like a lot of dreaming involved in it, both like mentally and also physically. Like even as a little kid, I've always been like a very avid dreamer, and like all the dreams would be like very vivid and different things like that. I'm not sure if that's part of narcolepsy, because one thing with narcolepsy is that it causes you to have very vivid dreams, like to where the point where you wake up out of the bed in the dream thinking you're awake and things like that. And at a certain point, you just get to, just like you can almost control your dreams. It's just so, it's so immense, or whatever the word is.
Yeah.
But that's one thing about it, and then another was like music. I remember one day I went to my grandparents' basement, and they had a piano. They didn't really have too much at the house, and I remember I sat down there and I played the C chord, and that was like the first chord that I ever played. It was like C, E, and G combined. Yeah. And I just liked the sound, and I remember playing around with that and then coming up with my first song. And I would just really just start to play by ear, and then I went and played that for a talent show and got like 3rd place, things like that. And then I started creating my own music, but at the same time I never really had a piano. So I'd go from like house to house, wherever we went somewhere, I'd ask them if they had a piano. And I'd go off and I'd just play that, and then it got to the point where I liked that and I liked the drums and all these other things. And I ended up getting a piano from a friend whose kid, well, from a neighbor whose kid really didn't use their drums or the piano. Got those for free, and then I wanted to experiment with that, and I was like trying to play the drums and the piano at the same time. It didn't really work, so I elaborated on that, and then I ended up doing studio music. And to back it up, the reason I really wanted to also start making music like that was because like I would go into talent shows and I would dance, but then a lot of the songs would have like explicit music on it, so it was like I really didn't do that. So I was like, why don't I make my own music? But then I started to realize that a lot of the music I made came with some type of story in the background. So when I had that story, let's see, when I had a story in mind, a lot of times like I would envision, like I had certain songs for certain moods and certain feelings and certain emotions. So it's like I could picture, listen to one song and have a whole entire movie play throughout it. So I was like, I want to see that, not just in my mind, but to be out in real life. So a lot of times I could wake up and just play a certain song and see a whole entire film go through. So then I started to do films, and it started to grow easier because like I could tell like which type of angles would make you feel certain ways, like whether you have the camera pointing down on somebody because that sort of symbolizes somebody looking down on another person, or a camera looking up at them symbolize like their heroism or like courage and different things like that. It's just sort of like the way that you see. Like, and I started to picture all of that, and it all really is based off of music, like the strong connection between music and film, audio and video. It's basically the class, so you can get those two things together. You can really create a strong bond and a great movie.